So today's video, I want to go over the 5 steps that I think that it takes based off of anecdotal evidence to win with Amazon KDP. So step 1 is going to be your niche choice. Step 2 is going to be Amazon ads. Step 3 is building a real business, which is a very important section. Step 4 is going to be utilizing AI in the correct way. And step 5 is going to be staying focused. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Chris. I've been publishing on Amazon for over 10 years. Most of those 10 years have been massively unsuccessful until the last sort of 2 to 3 years where I massively switched up my approach to publishing, which has allowed me to sell over 170,000 paid units. I'm also the founder of Raydog KDP, which is my membership website for super serious publishers. If you get a chance during this video to check this out, it's chrisraydog.com. So let's get into the first step, which is going to be your niche choice. Now, the way that I preach niche selection is going to be slightly different to what you might have heard before. I'm not into utilizing keyword research tools, niching down, niching sideways, and doing all these fancy things. I'm more so of the approach of getting into a broad niche and then creating unique and desirable products in that niche. That's where I've had the majority of my success. We're going to talk about that more as we go through this video, but niche choice is important because what a lot of people will do, they will tell you to go after where the money is being spent. Now that makes sense, but not all of us have this kind of mindset, grind set attitude where we can just go where money has been proven to be spent. So typically that's going to be those kind of high content books. So my personal experience with this, creating high content books, it led me to create a handful of books and then stopping, even though they were quite successful, created a handful of books and stopped because I couldn't see this kind of bigger picture with what I was doing and I had absolutely no interest. I got demotivated and I quit publishing at that point, which was a fair few years ago now. So what I like to do, as I just said, is to pick a broad niche. And what I recommend that people do is to pick a broad niche that you see yourself publishing in and wanting to make customers happy for at least the next 6 months. So ideally, a type of book with huge demand and the ability to create multiple books in. But if you're a creative person, I highly recommend that you pick a niche where you can get creative, where you allow yourself to have fun, get creative, create products that you love, and put that into the marketplace and see how the marketplace responds. So that means if you're that type of person, you're going to be able to add a lot of value to a very flat and boring marketplace that has been flooded with a ton of absolutely shitty books. So just to touch upon a few of the type of broad niches that you can pursue and the ones that I pursue myself. Now, if you've watched my channel before, you know that I go full on after the whole coloring book scene, which I know is super competitive, but I still truly believe that the vast majority of coloring books that are being uploaded onto Amazon are absolutely garbage. So when it comes to having a little bit of creativity, which I like to think that I do have, it allows me quite easily to come up with ideas and to create unique products that the marketplace hasn't seen before, therefore giving them a massive chance of selling ahead of the absolute shit that most people upload. Then you have things like activity books, education books, thoroughly researched high content books, premium low content books, which is something that I've not had experience with. But if I was gonna go after the whole low content book thing, like the line journals and the notebooks and things like that, then I'd want to make them premium and have a higher price point for them. Children's storybooks, facts books, and short stories, which I also have some experience with as well. But either way, the point of this section of the video is to make sure that you pick an area that you're super interested in, where you think you can create something truly awesome for the marketplace and it's going to have so many benefits. You're going to see more sales, you're going to get more clicks, your advertising campaigns are going to convert better, you're going to be able to eventually branch out, create a website, sell more things, build up your customer base, blah, 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 blah. So that's niche choice. Now, step 2 is Amazon ads. So do I think that you need to be running Amazon ads to see success with Amazon? Yes. Do I think most people should be running ads? No. So this is a very strange area for me to talk about because I do think it's important, but at the other side of things, I just don't think most people are ready to run ads. But if you are going to run ads, then I truly believe that you should start off very slow. So rushing into, that's a weird order, rushing into huge ad spend is a disaster waiting to happen. So what happens is that people see that people like Chris or whoever has been spending lots of money on the YouTube and showing their advertising spend, is that we get the impression that the only way that we can have success is if we spend a ton of money. Now, I started off doing about like $5 to $10 per month and then built my way up to a point where I'm spending around $1,000 a month just on Amazon ads. I'm going to go into my account in just a second to show you some tips with Amazon ads, because like I say, I want to make sure that people absolutely win with this pursuit. Yes, Amazon ads, as soon as you click that create campaign or launch campaign button, you are declaring that you are an advanced publisher. Always bear that in mind. So here's the thing with Amazon ads. I typically use automatic advertising campaigns for pretty much everything. So most of the time I'm selling slightly lower price books, so books that are under $10. And I found that running automatic ads works out best for them. Now, what I have also found from people that I've been speaking to recently over the last sort of couple of years is that if you have a higher priced book, then manual ads for that are probably a slightly better pursuit. I'm going to explain why I like to use the automatic ads as I go into my account now. I'm also going to talk about the metrics to help you to decide if your advertising campaigns are working and how you can double down on your winning campaigns across different marketplaces as well, which is super powerful stuff for your long-term pursuits. Just coming into my Amazon ads account here, you're going to see that pretty much all of my campaigns are automatic minus a couple. So here's the reason that I like automatic campaigns for the type of books that I'm publishing, which is sort of lower priced coloring books. Now, if I could get away with selling a coloring book for 10, 11, 12, 13 plus dollars, then I would do it, and I'd probably utilize manual ads because that would give me a better chance of actually having some room to test different types of advertising campaigns. And also they would likely result in a better conversion rate. So here's the thing that I found after doing these type of books, which most people are doing for many years, is that with the automatic campaigns, you can get the cost per click down lower. So you can see my cost per click for yesterday was pretty low at 14 cents. Now, the conversion rate for your automatic ads is going to be lesser than if you were running manual campaigns. However, what I have found is that running manual campaigns to a lower price book means that you have to pay more per click. And despite the conversions being better for manual campaigns, it still works out better for your ACoS to have a lesser conversion rate with a lower cost per click, if that makes sense. So that's the reason that I do that. I just find that over time with an automatic campaign, I can just set it going, slowly reduce the cost per click over time. And that works out quite nicely for my ACoS, despite being slightly high yesterday. So one other way that you can make sure that you win with Amazon KDP is to make sure that you are advertising across multiple marketplaces, so in different countries' stores. So you should only be doing this when you've had a proven campaign, a campaign that has been working in the US store, for example. So what you'll see here is that I have some campaigns running in Canada, United States, United Kingdom, Australia, France, and Germany. So once you have a successful campaign, let's say that it's in the United States, you would then go ahead, set that up in the Canadian store, the Australian store, the UK store, the French store, and the German store, I think, are probably the best ones. Now, what you would be doing, whatever you have your cost per click down to, so on this one here, it's 19 cent here, then if you're going to set that up in the UK store, for example, you would convert that to pence. So that's going to be around like 11 pence. And then you just let that sit there. And typically what's going to happen is that you're going to see a very similar conversion rate across these stores. Hopefully that makes sense. And the point of this is to make sure that you obviously get more exposure for your pen name. Now, if you're utilizing QR codes in your book where you're collecting emails and things like that, this is another great pursuit for making sure that you can build up your customer email list much quicker and larger. So in terms of metrics, this is something that I have been doing for a very long time. I kind of have a cutoff point to some extent, but the metrics that I look at are how low I can get the cost per click, because obviously that's going to be an important factor for our overall ACoS. I also look at my clicks versus my orders. If it's an automatic campaign, I like to see 1 in 20. better than 1 in 20. If it's a manual campaign, I like to see better than 1 in 10, for example. And on top of all of that, I like to see some organic sales coming in after, let's say, the first sort of 3 or 4 weeks as well. If you don't have any of these stats going for you, then it's probably a good time to cut the campaign off and assume that the book isn't going to be a winner. So if that didn't quite make sense to you and you want to go over this in some course content, you can check out the Raydog KDP membership, which includes all the course content for getting started with publishing low and medium content books. So we have our get started section, niche research, keyword research, launching your book, Amazon ads, KDP mastery, and our metric mastery as well. On top of this, inside the membership, we have live calls every single Friday, which get recorded. Every single Friday, we have a new topic. We have topics about advertising. I showcase all of my best-selling books. I showcase all the strategies for them. I showcase everything that I'm currently working on. So building toward an actual business, having a website. I show the website. You can go and visit that. You can do everything. You can see all my books. Everything that I make my full-time income from is revealed inside of my membership. I think is probably unheard of on the YouTube domain, but at some point, someone somewhere has to be slightly more transparent with their audience. And this is why I created the Raydog KDP membership, is so that people can be in a place where they know that they are getting the absolute best and most transparent advice possible. So publishers can feel like they're in a safe place where they are not just getting ripped off or misled. So on top of all of this, we have an incredible Discord community as well, extremely helpful community where I'm active every single day, most of the day, to be honest. And we also have sections inside of the Discord where you can get feedback, direct feedback from me and other successful publishers as well. So whether it's your book covers, whether it's your advertising stats, whether it's any illustrations that you want people to take a look at, anything at all, you can get a load of feedback. And this is one of the reasons why I showcase everything that I'm doing myself, is because people need feedback to get to the next level. They need feedback. And that is exactly what we provide inside of the Discord. And it is fantastic to see people that have been having no success for years and years and years coming into the Discord, coming into the membership, utilizing the strategies, getting tons of feedback, and starting to finally see results, which is absolutely fantastic. So again, if you want to check that out, there's going to be chrisraydog.com. It's going to be linked in the description below. So that is Amazon ads, and it's something that I do feel very strongly about. I feel like there's no real fancy advertising strategy that works for slightly lower priced books, so books that are under $10. You definitely don't need to hire a company to do this for you. In fact, you will probably just keep losing money if you hire a company to do this. I'm not saying that there aren't good companies that exist. However, I think for most people that are doing like coloring books and activity books and books under $10, you should really focus on creating amazing products and running very simple advertising campaigns, and have some kind of metric to work off to stop those campaigns. So that's one way that you can make sure that you win with Amazon, is to utilize Amazon ads in a way that makes sense for the type of books that you are publishing. So if they are under $10, then I highly recommend the strategies that I've been outlining. So step 3 is something nobody wants to talk about. Nobody talks about. It's been avoided completely in this domain for as long as I can remember, and that is building a real business. Now, is Amazon KDP on its own a real business? The answer is no, because you aren't collecting your customers' emails, you're not collecting their telephone numbers. That is all left to Amazon. It's all Amazon's customers, and you don't have any of that information. So building a real business, there's no real business out there that can claim to be a real business that isn't collecting customers' emails and phone numbers so that it can remarket to them in future. And also having establishing the mindset of building a real business is going to give you a lot of mental peace. Now, this is what I found from starting to do this myself, where I'm actually building up a big email list, thinking about the different things that I can sell to customers in future, is that it gives me this peace of mind that I don't have to rely 100% on Amazon in the future, and that we should be building an email list, building a customer base of customers that absolutely love and look forward to our products being released, and then buying our products through our website as opposed to on Amazon, which is where the stability and predictability of your income will eventually come from if you are serious about doing this. So it also means that you won't go forward hinging your entire life on your KDP dashboard, waking up, checking it, wondering if your book is being blocked, wondering if your account is being terminated, all these horrible things that can possibly happen if you aren't thinking about this bigger picture. So in my opinion, and what I'm currently doing myself, is to set yourself up to build a business. Set yourself up in any way possible to build this huge business going forward. So utilizing QR codes, for example, and a landing page that has a freebie on it, and always directing customers to this so that you can collect their telephone number and their email address. So this is also going to help make any social media marketing that you pursue worth this as well, because what you're going to find, for example, people that are doing like TikTok and coloring books, you're going to find that trying to sell directly from TikTok is going to be quite hard. But what a better pursuit might be would be to have something like a QR code that's being shown off in those videos so people can sign up to your email list and build your email list from there. So for me, one of the most exciting things here is that you now have the opportunity, once you start capturing emails from customers that have paid money, they are likely to want to buy more stuff from you, is you can start thinking about what upsells complement your books. So for example, if you're doing coloring books, then you might want to think about selling branded pens or markers alongside that, or creating premium versions of your book that you are just selling to people that are on your list, for example. So that is building a real business using Amazon as just a slice of that. This is something that I am currently working on at the moment for myself. I've done a few live calls about this inside the membership, and I'm always updating people with the progression of how this has been going. So like I say, I actually did a live call about this back in December. This was an important opportunity. This has been recorded, where I talk more about the setup with my QR codes, my website, and things like that. If you ever want to check any of the live recordings out, it's chrisraydog.com. We have absolutely loads of these, maybe over 40 of these live recordings inside the membership. And just to give you an example of someone that has successfully set up this type of pursuit here, I was just scrolling through Google looking for coloring book subscriptions and things like that. Not many people are doing this because not many people know that this is a thing that you can eventually set up. And this is what I'll be looking to do, currently looking to do with my own pen name. And as you can see here, these people, they're offering like pens on their website. They offer all their coloring books. They offer a subscription, wall art and posters, all these different upsells that they can charge probably slightly more money for on their website. So that's a real business. Now let's move on to step number 4. I'm going to show you a few things here that I've not shown on my channel before, but that is embracing AI. And it's going to be unstoppable at this point. I think whether you like it or hate it, it is pretty much unstoppable. But I don't want people to get left behind here. So that doesn't mean that you have to drop everything you're doing and start fully using 100% AI, because I think that is actually one of the worst things that you can do, but it can truly assist in creating some amazing products. So I'm just going to go over how I've been utilizing AI in the last sort of 2 to 3 months for my own publishing business. So just to give you a couple of examples how I've been using AI myself. So since I'm doing coloring books, it obviously makes sense to use AI to give me some assistance with the pages that are being created. So I was actually using ChatGPT to come up with the ideas for the niche. So for example, I was putting in like trending niches into ChatGPT and asking it to give me some niche, some other ideas that I can get into that are similar to those niches but not exactly the same, so that we have our unique selling point, and then asking it to produce these type of images here. So obviously I don't go ahead, these are so weird, I don't know why it's done this, but obviously I don't go ahead and just use this straight into a book, because that's what every single person is going to do. So the new standard for shit is going to be slightly higher, because ChatGPT and AI can produce better stuff, but people will just come in and they will produce the same shit over and over and over without doing what it takes to make a premium looking book. So for example, to make these pages premium, they get taken and they get sent to an illustrator, who then uses them as inspiration, like a template to guide them when it comes to creating the final image. So of course you can use ChatGPT to help you with your description, your title, your subtitle, your backend keywords, and all those things. The only thing that I don't really recommend using ChatGPT for is to do your title and your subtitle. Those are so easy that you should probably be doing them yourself. But the other way that I found ChatGPT to be very helpful for these type of books, coloring books in particular, is that if you have an image that you're considering using for your book cover, you can take that, you can put it into ChatGPT, and you can say to it, can you recreate this image, but do it in a way that it makes sense for a book cover? So you could ask it to follow professional design principles, considering things like book cover hierarchy and things like that, color theory, etc., etc. And it does sometimes do a pretty good job at coming back with a revised image that you could use to then have turned into a coloring book, a book cover. I actually did a emergency call about this because the AI model, is it in ChatGPT, is it DALI, I think it is, has been updated recently, and it's very, very impressive. So we did an emergency call last week, and we took a look at all the different things that you can do with this, the type of books that I'm actively creating myself, utilizing the AI tools. And we took a look at some of the different styles that you can create. So obviously you have the interior pages, the colored in pages. Of course, there's inconsistencies across these. I know that there is, but it's here to assist us, not to do it all for us. Creating bold and easy pages that you can then remove the colors from. We then also took a look at creating these kind of really simple images as well. And I think we actually the line thickness on this as well. Again, some really impressive stuff here, and we discussed all of this, and we will discuss this more as we go forward, because it's super powerful stuff. So that is embracing AI. So it's important to not let yourself get scammed, misled into thinking that you can quickly publish AI books, because what's going to happen now as AI gets better, as I touched upon just a minute ago, is that the standard for AI published books at the moment is very bad, but it's going to go up ever so slightly just because the tools have improved. But the books are still going to be bad. Like, people aren't going to be thinking about utilizing AI where to help them with like the composition of their book cover, or to get some ideas for the combinations of colors they can use, or to use it as a template that they can then pass on to a designer. Most people are not going to do that because it takes effort, and they're just going to publish the same shit over and over and over again. And we're going to see this kind of wave of very similar looking books but slightly better, which is what people are doing already, and those people again are very unlikely to see sales. But saying that, AI is very powerful stuff, and it's going to get even more powerful as we go forward. And like I said, that is what I think is going to happen. So step number 5 is staying focused. And of course, staying focused, this is something that I don't really talk about. I'm not this guy to preach these type of motivational things to people, because I think to some extent you either have the focus or you don't, but it is incredibly important. And I think one way that I've established a way to stay motivated is to be real with myself and tell myself, is this something that I really want? Or do I just like the idea of building a business, but I'm not prepared to go through the pain and the shit and the time and some of the money investments that it takes to actually create something fantastic? So I think it's going to help people stay focused on their goals if they can just be real with themselves and really acknowledge if they want to be here doing this, or whether they kind of just have shiny object syndrome because some idiot on YouTube told them they can make $1,000 a month selling a word search, for example. So again, you need to give yourself this reality check, and that it is going to take time. And I've outlined everything in this call the way that I have, so that whilst it does take time, it can still be extremely rewarding whilst you're creating stuff. So having products, creating products that you want to create, that you want to add value to the marketplace, that you find yourself doing for a long time, just because you don't get that instant reward of money, you'll still be motivated to get to that point where you do have a proper business or something. So again, one thing here that has always helped me stay focused and motivated is to just do something. No matter what it is to just get something done on any given day. Even if you're feeling like shit, you're feeling like you're tired as hell, but just getting one thing done is going to feel mega productive. And you'll know at that point, even when you're feeling really bad, is that you can still work on your business. And that is another step forward even if you're having a slightly off day. Another thing that I found that people do, and I've been guilty for this myself, is to start loads of different projects and then end up with loads of different problems. So what I tend to do now is to focus on one or two projects, and then if there is a hurdle at that time, then I do everything I can to resolve that hurdle. So just to give you an example of something, a hurdle that I frequently come across is text placement for my book covers. So this is something that I obsess over. I can never seem to get it right, and it's something that I do think is important for the composition of your book and standing out on Amazon. I will then go ahead and make sure, even if it takes me the full day to do it, I'll make sure that I resolve that issue, and that feels extremely good and helps me stay focused. So those are the 5 steps that I think can actually help people win with Amazon KDP. That is it for this video. If you want to check out the Raydog membership, that is chrisraydog.com. It comes with all the programs and different course content, all the live content that has been recorded as well. And of course, on top of all of this, the best community that you can be a part of.